Hello, beautiful souls. It is Diane Lang from Wisdom of the Akashics. Thank you and welcome to my YouTube channel. I would first like to start off by thanking all of you that take the time to come and watch the videos and make comments and like the videos, share the videos, come to my Facebook page, all of those things that you do to reach out and let me know that you're finding the information of value. And it really does, kind of assist me in continuing to do what I'm doing here in the journey of the twin hearts, twin souls, twin flames, whatever it is that you deem that person in your heart that is having that extra special relationship that you have with and that you feel connected to. And so often it's, we hear things like it's unlike anything that's ever happened to me before, and that's without question true for me. And we just went through a form of an energetic gateway that began on the 30th of July, and I was guided by spirit to call in this gateway. The day that it happened, I had a very powerful experience that day with my twin in a meditation earlier in that day. I had actually asked for him to do something etherically. I went into meditation and asked him to do something very specific, and he did it about 4 hours later, literally to exactly what I asked for. And it makes me think, had I even been more specific or asked for something even more different, then would have shown up also. In that energetic gateway, I was given the guidance to do twin flame clearings, heart clearings. Those can take place actually in any relationship, and soulmate relationships, any relationship that we want to find, come to a place where we're peaceful about it, we're harmonious, we're and comfortable with where we're at. We're letting go of the things that are keeping us blocked and restricted in those relationships. So the intention for the month of August was the twin flames, and I have completed that. The offer was there till the 31st of August. We had a tremendous amount of people that came forth, that did clearings, that did readings and clearings, some of them even. And the feedback and the comments, and I will update my website with some of the testimonials and the comments that came in, because they were so powerful and so wonderful. And and some of them, it's like it was a combination of things that were happening, that were the twin was showing up in good ways. Some of them were comments about the individual that I did the work for, the clearing work for. Them, I call in the twin on their behalf of the clearing through free will, but that they had felt a shift, they had felt lighter, they had felt themselves step into more of alignment, become more peaceful with the relationship. There's tips and tools in those clearings when I pass them on to you. Whatever I get channeled to me is what I pass on to you. So I am going to continue those. They're going to be changing slightly because I'm getting some information about how to actually complete them a little bit differently. But the gateway itself was very powerful, and I think today might be a new moon day or a full moon day or something. I don't pay that much attention to that stuff, but I do see it come up all the time. And what I did though is I wanted to take the cards, and these are my romance oracle cards that I've chosen to use because this is all about the heart. When I do other types of guidance and channeling, I use a combination of my intuition, the clairaudience that I have a gift in, and then also cards if we're drawn to use them. And so I was prompted to pull some cards that in asking the universe, what is it that we can pass on to all twins. I did have a gift that I offered the twins that came through in the clearings in the month of August, and I've completed that, and I've sent them some additional things that they get themselves for being part of that process. But I wanted to know what culminated in this, 31 through about 33, might even be 33 days, which will be very interesting because that really showed up a lot. And that 33 is also a infinite number. 3, 6s, and 9s all come in the infinite story. And so I called up the cards and just said, what is it that culminated from us reaching out, doing these clearing works? What cards, what does Spirit want to bring to us that I can then come on and have a little discussion about in the reading? And, I don't know why it amazes me. It shouldn't amaze me. It shouldn't amaze me anymore, ever. But it does. And, because for one, it was so beautiful. And I pulled 4 cards, as I always do. And 3 cards and a flip card is actually what I typically do. And so it was like, what is it you want us to know? What is the value in the work that we just did for everybody that watches the videos, for those that were in part of the clearing gateway? And so I'm going to give the quick reading here. And it's so funny because part of the clearings and the work that I do, when I'm complete and I let you know that the session has been completed, I offer a invocation, a written invocation that was channeled to me directly from Spirit and from God. And this is an invocation to call in your twin. There's clearings in there. There's a clearing statement so that when we're in the lower energies and we're in the pain and the frustration and the disappointment and feeling the loneliness and the longing, then the clearing statement is to be used during those times. And then when we get into our empowered state, where we're feeling the love and the energy and the connection and the attraction and all of that versus the division and the separation, the invitation is calling in your twin flame. That's the actual invocation. And so the first card that came up is calling in your soulmate. And these cards don't have twin flames in them. So in this respect, we're asking about the twin, the soulmates, the twins. It doesn't matter. This is for anybody that wants to call in the highest relationship of love that they're meant to be in this lifetime, because some of our twins are not incarnated. And so, I don't believe we're meant to have a life of longing and loneliness when our twins are not even incarnated on the earth. And so you want to call in the next highest relationship that you can be in this lifetime. So in this calling in your soulmate, though, this was the first card that came up, which was so amazing because that's actually what we did in the clearings. The clearings was getting rid of, going into the story, going into the fields, clearing out the debris and the muck and the mire, and then going into a place of empowerment, and then enhancing and expanding on the love feelings. And there's a question that I asked a couple questions. People wrote to me, answered these questions. What is the biggest blocks and restrictions and you think is keeping you from your twin? And what do you think is your greatest love and gift with your twin? And so that gives me something to work with. I ask that the stories aren't really long because the ego gets involved if they are. It says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So I want everyone to know that does this work, not just through clearing with me, but that does any work where they're doing their clearings, where they're working in the Akashic records, where they're doing visualizations, where they're using energetic tools and stuff like that. Your prayers, affirmations, visualizations help bring you together. This is what helps us align with our twins. This is what helps us align with our highest story on earth. Get very cautious about getting caught up in only thinking that the only story that's really important to us on the earth is the twin, because that's actually a form of obsession when we get into it. The twin, the twin, the twin, the twin, the twin. And that everything about that becomes kind of there's a pattern of obsession and, what's going on and why haven't they done this or that? Or, I reached out and they didn't write back and I can't sleep. And I watch twin flame videos every day, all day. And I tell people that when you're enmeshed in that much in the story, that I would step away from doing that, and set a time frame and say for 30 days, I'm not going to watch any twin energy things, including myself. If you feel like you're getting value because I'm teaching you something, that's fine. But if you simply come for readings or you come to the readings and you get every weekly update, and you go to 10 different people that are talking about twin flames, I guarantee you the program of confusion is being perpetuated, and it can be being perpetuated a lot. So this is the first card that came out, and I got so excited when I saw that, because it's an affirmation of the work that we just did, and it's an affirmation for everybody that was in part of that gateway, So in addition to the stuff that I sent you yesterday, know that this is working. Continue to do it. Just be very cautious about using the clearings when you're in the lower energies, and the invocations in your stuck energy, when you're in your empowerment. Because I think I even used the example that if we try to call anything into our life, money, happiness, joy, health, if we call it in when we're stuck in our stuff, it's kind of like saying, well, come to me while I'm in my worst state. That energetic vibration cannot match the vibration of joy when we're in a lower vibration. And the example that I used, which I was really happy to get this one from Spirit, what it was kind of like, are you asking me to come to your memorial service and be with you, or are you asking me to come into your life of abundance and joy and be with you? Because they don't want to come to our memorial service, which means it's all about that part about getting stuck. And my video did this yesterday. It kept stopping and then starting and stopping, but I listened, and the messages were all there, just the video froze. But it's frozen on 11 minutes and 11 seconds right now. The video is frozen, so hopefully it's going to come back up. This video is going to feed for all of you properly, because I think these messages are important. And but right now, as of it stands, I'm frozen on the screen with a big smile on my face, which is beautiful, and it's 11 minutes. So the next card that comes up, it was the second card that came up, was express your love. And the wordings on this card says, go ahead and make the romantic gesture. And it came back at 12:12. Spirit. So express your love. So this is about going out and expressing everything that's in your heart. Express your love with the people that are present in your life, because that actually heals the relationships that are causing the blocks, the restrictions, the separation, the division, the running, the chasing, all of that stuff. Those are words that are getting batted around. I don't really use them a lot myself, but when we're not cleaning up our own backyards, that's part of what it is. So if you have relationships in your life that need to be healed and worked on, then I tell you to go work on those relationships. Go express love where you need to express it, that you holding back. So if you feel like, and you never use the words, hey, I love you, or on your way out the door, I love you, babe, or I love you, sweetie, or send my nieces and nephews, when I speak to my nieces and nephews, always tell them I love them. I've been through some health issues, and what I noticed was that when I was in the health issues, everybody started expressing higher feelings towards each other and towards me. Everybody started saying, I love you, and they'd phone, are you doing okay? Are you hanging in there? Yes, okay, well, love you back. And then, a year later, 2 years later, you're getting back to being healthy. So I'm making a practice of, when I talk to my friends, when I talk to my family, when I talk to my brother who I could be very frustrated with, I finish and I leave with I love you. Because there's occasionally where I'll just jump in my car and go, or finish a text message, but I try to express it because I know that they feel it. I know it causes and brings forgiveness into our story. It causes alignment with the people that are already in our lives. And that's the part about not asking our twins or our soulmates or those person that's going to come in and be that highest relationship for us to come into and show up for our memorial service, okay? So express your love, express it openly, express it easily, practice it. And if it's actually tough for you, this is a gem. This is what I like to call the gems in the lessons that I give, because that's telling you that's where you go practice it. So it's going to be more natural for you when the love shows up. So the next card that came up was, in addition to be calling in your soulmate, the third card that came up was the soulmate card. Yes, this is your soulmate. So I think what we're getting out of this one, boy, this is everybody. Somebody said yesterday this might be Mercury in retrograde, because I don't usually have this frozen thing happening in the videos. It's very uncommon, but it happened yesterday and now it's happening again today. So the card that they're telling us, or they brought forward, is the actual soulmate card. What's so interesting is when it's stuck, it says the software is not responding. And what I'm hoping, is that the energy that I send out when I get that message is that, the stuff that we're clearing away, it's being moved, it's being shoved out of the way. We're not giving it any energy anymore, so we don't have to spend time on it. So don't respond to that stuff anymore. Catch yourself in your story, catch yourself in your moods, catch yourself in your lower pity party kind of energy and stuff like that. Get yourself back up out of it. But what this has given to us, and this was again, I'm asking, what did the gateway do? And the reason that I put the clearings forward and the guidance I was given around that was that when we open the gateway and to call them out, the people through that are meant to come through the gateway with us, it's like that bridge that I described as opening. It's like it's opening, it's opening, it's opening. It's like the big castle that has the giant bridge, the bridge and the gates, and the gates open and open and open and open. And then it creates a pathway for everyone to follow through. It allows everyone into the kingdom, so to speak. And now the video has really been stuck for a while. So God, I really ask Spirit to clear this up, to correct it, to allow me to move forward so that the people can see the cards and get the messages and not be stuck. So please clear that energy, clear the Mercury in retrograde energy if that's what's happening. Yeah, we got 3 full seconds. Anyways, it's creating frustration in me, but I'm going to keep going because I think that you're hearing the messages, because that's what happened yesterday. So we got this beautiful soulmate card. Yes, this is your soulmate. So when you're in that place and you have that undescribable, unconditional love for somebody on this earth, it's so amazing. It's unlike anything. It's the recognition was there when you met. They challenge us in different ways. They draw us to want to be the best person we can possibly be. When I met my twin, I literally just wanted to go clean up everything about my life so that when he came forward, that I was in a really healthy place. I didn't have a bunch of baggage and luggage hanging on to me. And he is going to come out of something if he ever chooses to do it. And he is going to need some love and support because he is going to have some stuff that he's going to bring with him. And this way, my garden is already growing and it's beautiful and it's flush and it's flourishing, so that we don't have to be going through our stuff simultaneously. I do the work. When I feel my ego get in the way, I go and I do work around letting my ego get out of the way. When I see myself forming a pattern of doing something that I know is kind of like, well, that's not attraction energy, that's energy that's causing division and separation, I immediately just go, this is awesome. It gives me a chance to correct it. I'm so very blessed that I was brought the lesson. I thank myself for my awareness. So those are all things that I really recommend people that you guys do is to give yourself credit for some of this stuff. And if you need help, then reach out to me, reach out to somebody that helps spiritual life situations, because that's really what this is. This is a deep spiritual life situation that is going on. I'm getting ready to get off the phone and phone my provider because this is really aggravating me. So the card, I always tell you, I pulled these cards: calling in your soulmate, express your love, and the soulmate card. These were the 3 cards that were the cards that were drawn out of, me shuffling the decks. I'm kind of obsessive about shuffling the decks because I want to make sure that the cards really get moved around. When I put them back, I never put them back laying on top of each other. I always put one in and I grab some cards and put it on top and then put another, and add another, so that they're not side by side and they're not going to just show up because of that order and that you didn't shuffle very much. So these are the cards. Calling in your soulmate. Express your love. Express your love to your twin if you feel that you've been wanting to reach out and do that. Just do it in an unconditional sense, meaning that you do it without needing them to respond. And the response is the ego wanting to be participated. See, I went and said something nice and loving and they didn't even write back. Well, how I describe that is, we go and we put out love into the universe and then we follow it up with frustration and separation and shit and anger. So it's kind of like what really is the prominent energy is the one that you're going to attract, okay? So when you send out love, if you send out an expression to them and just say, hey, hadn't chatted for a while, hope you're doing well, things are going good here, say something like that. Go put your phone away. And I'm going to do a whole video on text messaging and how detrimental it can be to relationships, because it really actually can really mess up a relationship. There's just no inflection. There's no, understanding. There's no facial expressions. There's none of that. And so one of the things that I've been getting, and I get this in some of the people when people write to me, well, I sent my twin a note and I said this, and then he didn't respond. And so, and then I was like, well, then I'm not even going to talk to you then. And, it's kind of like, that's not unconditional love. It's very conditional love when we do that. And it's conditional on us needing to be validated. So that's the question. Why do I need to be validated? If I'm expressing from my heart, I'm expressing my love genuinely, authentically, unconditionally, then I need nothing in return. Okay? And then the final card came is stick to what you're doing here. You're doing the work. You're calling them in. You're expressing your love. You have a soulmate relationship, a twin flame relationship, and then the final card is very soon. And very soon is, again, this one keeps coming up. I think this could be the third reading in a row. And so it's saying that keep doing what you're doing and soon you will start to see the fruits of your labor. It doesn't mean they're coming to show up tomorrow and they're going to be, gone out of the relationship that they're in, or they're going to have made big decisions or anything. But it just means things are changing. They're changing rapidly. They're changing etherically. They're changing all over. There's so much twin energy and so much energy being created on the earth, period, about wanting to bring love and unity and communion and balance and fairness and equity to the earth right now. There really is a lot of people on the earth that are really putting out the right energy. And that's why you have to be very careful about where you're getting stuck, because we're just feeding the wrong animal. There's that beautiful saying about the grandfather says to his young grandson, it's a native parable kind of thing, if that's the right word, and it says something about there's two wolves in everybody. There's the shadow wolf and there's the beautiful wolf. And it says, well, which one will you be, grandfather? And he says, the one that you feed the most. So if you're feeding your shadow wolf, that's the story. That's the experience you're going to have, the one that's going to show up in your life. If you're feeding the beautiful wolf, the joy, the harmony, the peace, the compassion, if you don't have compassion for your twin and for their situation, then that's ego. You're not attracting them. And so this card, very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So many people aren't clear. They're not only clear about their twin, they're not clear about what they want in life in general. I'm a life coach. So I can tell you, when I say to people, when we go to work together and we talk about what is it that you want to create, they say, well, I want to be happy. Well, what's that mean? Sometimes we don't even have answers for that. So it's pretty hard to know your destination, what you want to create, when we haven't even defined what it looks like yet, what it feels like, what it's going to be like when you get there. You have to have that roadmap. You have to see somewhere on the horizon where you're going. And so that's what we do when we coach together. So what I did was, I was so kind of happy with these cards and that they spoke so much to the energetic gateway, that I shuffled the cards again, and I pulled 4 more cards just to say, are we really in alignment? Is this for, because this was kind of specific to the gateway question. And I was like, so, if we pull the cards again, if we pull cards again, are we going to stay in the same theme? Are we going to stay in the same theme of the story? So I'm not going to go over these cards in detail, but I'm going to show them to you. Romantic feelings is the first card that came up. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Let your friends help you. This is when we call in people, we confide in people. We might reach out to someone like me because we need assistance in this journey, and a lot of us can't talk to our friends in our life about this. Are you nuts? Or you're doing what? You're waiting for some guy and he's with some, like, oh my God, are you on crack? Ask for and accept support from others. So this is about saying, reach out, let people help you. This is something I'm